Aloha mai kako. Welcome one and all adepts and initiates to this, the Quantum Wizardry Program, the art and science of bending reality. I will be your guide, your instructor, your companion on this journey. Keola Maltengan here, and super excited to welcome you one and all. This is going to be an amazing experience. This the foundation for what is to come. How it is that we can really contribute to the world, how we can be fulfilled by fulfilling our purpose, how we can make a calling from our career and a career from our calling, and how indeed can we just live a full, expressive, expansive life of liberty, of love, and in aloha. So I welcome you here today. This is going to be a great experience. I'm super excited. This is day one, module one of vitality. Now, vitality is the first core foundational principle and also the area and platform that will build our genius, our legacy, and connect with our collective from. All of this is going to be the robust program that is Quantum Wizardry. So I welcome you here, one and all. All right, so let's just get straight into it. Module one is starting today. Each week, what we're going to be doing is releasing a single module that will be focused upon what it is that we are really focusing upon. That will be met also with a live event, one that will focus primarily on a new technique that we're going to be integrating into our lives and into our week, as well as a hui, a meetup, a community event where that allows us to be more open and just allow conversation and connection to really truly transpire. And so with all of that, we're really looking at that aspect again of vitality. And I want to talk today specifically about what that is, while also giving us direction in terms of where we are going. Now, I'm one who likes to start off with the end in mind. And so let's start there in terms of where does this all lead into. Basically, we are all in a collective awakening process. That awakening that we're talking about is coming from a place of slumber or unconsciously living our lives in our egoic state of mind. The ego is not necessarily negative. It's something that has been used a lot in terms of like ego death, or I got to kill the ego, or all of these different things. That's not the case. The ego is an identity that we have created often early in life, which comes with its own strategies and tactics on how to survive. Now, the thing about that is that often that's the case. We survive in our lives. That is not truly living. So what we want to do though is begin in this process, because it's something that's just happening anyway, to move along that line of our ego and into our essence, going from a place of how we can survive into where is it that we thrive. Now, as we do that, what that really entails is an unfolding, a process that allows us to move into what I call our aligned genius. Now, aligned genius means that we are able not just to connect with where we are now, we are able to make a solid, deep intrapersonal connection with our higher self and allow that greater intelligence to work through us in a way that allows us to contribute to the world around us. Now, inevitably, just a natural part of this aligned genius is our legacy. It's our calling, if you will. And that allows us then to have a very specific coordinate, a very specific niche in something that only you can do and something that only I can do. Something that I am capable of doing because I am me and I have the life experiences, the skill set, the talents, and the archetypes and patterns, the energy and the frequency to be able to express specifically this. Now, as that happens, it's usually something really big. And so that requires a group of people to support us. The right people coming in at the right time, for the right reasons, performing in the right way. And this is what I call our collective legacy. All of us working together to allow us to express something so unique that only you can do it. And I would say that unless you do exactly what this is, or rather what you're here to do, then the world is far less for it. And we all benefit from it. And so my intention, part of my holding, is to be able to support people in getting from here, wherever here is for you, as it is for me, to quote unquote there. Moving in from that place of ego, identity, and into our essence, moving from that place of where we genuinely are and into a place of our aligned genius. So if that sounds great, if that sounds something you're interested in, then let's get to it. Because what it really involves and what it really entails is being able to establish a foundation for that. If that's where the end is, us living our lives by simply being, contributing to the world by doing something that is fulfilling, taking the entirety and the totality of this calling and making it a career so we can do this full time, I mean, that sounds awesome. And when we're able to achieve that, we are very much like a lantern in the darkness. We are lit, and as such, beam out this radiant light to others as well, and others feel it too. And so as they are drawn in by this energy, as they see, as they behold, and as they are being held in this container of love, of trust, of intuition, of Allah, then what happens is nothing short of the extraordinary. And so what we're going to be talking about today, kind of coming back into the here and now, is what it is that this first stage, this 3-month course entails, how it is relevant to the end intention, the desired end result of collective legacy, living in our genius, fulfilling our place in time and space. And that starts today. So let's get to it. This first 3-month period is all about vitality. Now, what is vitality? Well, vitality is the cross-section of what's called our 4-body system. Now, our 4-body system is our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual selves, and is specifically our physical fitness, our mental health, our emotional well-being, and our spiritual connectivity. So to start off with that, what we really want to do is just take a moment and pause before we proceed. And what we're going to look at is, in this Module 1, we are going to first and foremost start off by looking at what is called the peace of mind square. Now with this, we are going to be looking at this from the perspective of 4 sides, each and every one being a specific part of who we are. Our physical at the bottom, our mental, our emotional, and spiritual selves. Okay, so we're going to take a moment right now and we're going to just look at that physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, just for a moment in front of you with your journal, I want you to open up to a blank page and just simply draw a square. You don't need to write any of these words just yet. Now, with that square blank on the inside, blank on the outside, what I want you to do is to take a moment and we're just going to do a very brief, quick 30-second assessment. And what we're going to assess is, where are you physically? Where are you mentally? Where are you emotionally? And where are you spiritually? I'm going to leave it very vague in terms of however you define it for yourselves, because we want this to be something that's very personal. This is the way that you, on your own, can track how you are doing, and there will be other ways that you can use other metrics as well to be a parameter of success. For right now, though, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, go ahead and rank yourself quickly where you are physically, 1 to 10. Where you are mentally, scale of 1 to 10, where you are emotionally, scale of 1 to 10, and finally where you are spiritually on a scale of 1 to 10. Go ahead and just take a real brief moment right now to write that on each side with each corresponding agency. Okay, how did you do? Take a moment now and just kind of reflect upon that. Where are you in all these areas? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. How did you do? Rather, how do you feel you are physically? And physically, going a little bit further, can be everything from physical health, it can be fitness, it can be the food you eat, it can be the quality of sleep, it can be all of those things. Mental health. How are you doing there in the mental aspect? It can also be a matter of mental health. It can also be a matter of creativity. could be a matter of finance. It could be an area of learning. What is that for you right now? Next, the emotional side. How well are you connected with your emotions? How able are you to identify your feelings? How expressive are you? How connected are you to other people in your lives? Those social relationships, as well as the deeper significance of living your values. Finally, spiritual. What is that connection that you have internally? What is that connection that you have to something beyond words? Nature, God, the universe, source. How inspired are you right now? And how much and to what degree are you living an inspired life? Now, as we look at these numbers, these are simply ways that we are going to be identifying a few things in terms of your progress with the program, yet also more so where you just generally are. We want to have an idea of where our point A is, because again, I just gave you point B, collective legacy, making the world a better place, because we have been and we are being, right, in that area of genius, our place in time and space. And so we backtrack it to the here and now, and this is going to be an idea that gives us a very flexible yet reflective feel of where we are, and something that we can check back in with every few months. Okay, this brings up a great topic though. What is this aspect of the four-body system? The physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual selves, because that in and of itself is a whole thing and is the core concept of what we're talking about when we really identify our own personal vitality. Vitality in that aspect of physical fitness. How do we identify that, right? Looking at things in terms of mental health. What does that mean for you? Emotional well-being and spiritual connectivity. So let's flip a page. And let's go a little bit further with this as well. Now, you'll have your journal, and that's going to be something to continue to monitor throughout the entirety of this. And so I want you, as we go through this whole process, to be very attentive to what comes up, both in the content that we're going to be going over together with, as well as the reflection, the introspection that you feel as you go through some of those pieces on your own too. So first and foremost, we're talking about the four-body system. So let's write a couple of notes up here so that we are all in and on the same page. Right? Four-body system is what we're using, not just for this concept of vitality, though we absolutely are. It also is going to be a key idea that we continue to come back throughout the entirety of our vitality program, in and out throughout both parts of the genius aspect, into legacy as well as into collective. It's something that is an ongoing, not just theme for the Quantum Wizardry Program, it's also a universal pattern, which we'll talk about much, much later. Anywho, let's start off first and foremost with that first aspect, which is, and looking at our physical fitness. Now, our physical fitness looks at really this aspect in terms of our own physicality. This gets into our level of not just cardiovascular and muscular conditioning. It also comes into what is it that we're consuming? How is it that we are resting? All these areas that allows us to be truly fit in our lives. And fit not necessarily being, like shredded with the abs and super buff, as much as it is fit to live the life of our dreams. Okay, fit to live the life of our dreams means that we're taking in this physical component as an important part of not just being, good enough to make, to make ends meet. It is more so a matter of vitality. It is really sparking within our physicality, which is incredibly important. I'll talk more about that as well. Our own physicality in integrating all of these things that we're looking at doing being and living in our lives. Physical fitness. Next, let's look at mental health. You know, this gets thrown around a lot nowadays, and I want to come up with a very specific definition of this. As we look at mental health, we are looking at the relationship that we have to our own identity. Okay, the relationship that we have to our own identity. Now, as we talked about earlier, we have a scale, right? Ego and essence. The ego identity is one that we've created. And that, again, comes from a place of survival. Often early in life, between the ages of 4 and 8, we've developed these ways that we want to be, that we've done so that we can survive in the world. And that place of survival simply doesn't get us to a place of where we can truly thrive. And so we want to identify that in terms of our mental health, because we can find that we're really overwhelmed by certain things. And that level of overwhelm comes from often taking on more than we can necessarily handle. Or, more so, that it's more than we really want to be doing. And so however you identify it in all regards, at least for the intent of Quantum Wizardry in this section of the Vitality Program and throughout, we're going to be identifying mental health as that aspect of our relationship to our own identity. Now, emotional well-being. That's a great one because, as we talked about in our 4-body system, this now relates to our connection, not just with ourselves, with others as well. That intrapersonal relationship that we have, right? And that's my own internal relationship with me, is a big part of emotional well-being. Yet, it also spans further and farther out to my interpersonal connections, how I am with other people. And other people can mean, you know, those, my family and my friends. It can also mean those who may be my clients, those that I may be in service to. And so levels of relating is reflective by our own depth of connection. And so one of the things about emotional well-being is going to be tied to this, yet also directly ties back straight into our physical fitness. The reason being that there's a strong relationship and correspondence with our body systems and our physical body systems and the emotional body itself. Now we'll get into all of this further, deeper, and whatnot. Today we're just kind of skimming the surface of it. Lastly, let us look at spiritual connectivity. Spiritual connectivity. Now, this can get a little complicated. We're going to keep it really simple. Okay? Instead of necessarily identifying a figure or a intelligence, we're going to tie this directly to ourselves. And spiritual connectivity is how connected are we to what truly inspires us, and that magical aspect of who we are. Magical just being beyond what we can sense with our eyes, our ears, so on and so forth. And so as we look at this in terms of spiritual connectivity, it's a very important part, because what this really does and what this really says and what this really allows for is a level of inspiration that is very much dependent upon you, as it is for me. Congratulations, you made it through Module 1. Just want to now close today with a few thoughts in terms of this concept of the 4-body system and how it's going to be very relevant to our modules from here on out, as well as the entirety of the experience of the 4-body system. Again, this first aspect of vitality is really establishing that base, a platform, a vehicle for us to travel with for the next few months. And so in doing this, we really want to familiarize ourselves with what it is that this means for each and every one of us. So to close out today, I just want to finish off with recommending doing a simple journal exercise on reflection on the peace of mind square we did, how it is that you scored yourself, and what that looks like in terms of each and every one of those aspects of the 4-body system: your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual selves. So something super simple, just do a reflection piece on your score for your physical body and where areas of opportunity for improvement exist. Areas of the mental body, where opportunities exist to expand upon that, for the emotional and for the spiritual as well. That's it for this module though. Thank you very much for joining today. Mahalo nui loa, and talk to you again soon.